Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You know what time it is. About 7 minutes to go time. I'm getting everything ready, letting y'all hear the background, the new intro, the most recent intro. Y'all heard it before, but it's coming back to y'all right now. I'm getting ready. I'm ready, actually, so letting the intro play out. And we're going to pick this mic in. What's we going to do here? We're going to pull my voice over so y'all can really hear me. We're going to fade this out. Bring me in. We bringing the fire every day. No lying. What's up, what's up, what's up, good people? What it do, what it do, what it do. It is your favorite sports podcast host in the building right now. Monday morning, January 22nd. So, listen, January has flown by, people. And again, you know, I'm always having some technical difficulties with this setup and whatnot, but I can't hear myself. But people, just let me know if y'all can hear me. You know where we are. I got your shirt, cuzzo. If I don't get it to you today, because I got some other stuff I got to do, but it's definitely on the weekend. I'll get it to you this weekend. I know the weather messed us up a little bit, but I got you, cuzzo. Shout out to my cousin, Yellow D Bowman on IG. Shout out to her. She purchased the shirt, and I'm going to give y'all all the information so y'all can get y'all shirts. And when I give her shirt, we're going to take a picture, and y'all going to see what it is, see what we do. But, cuzzo, I got you. Like I said, worst case scenario, it'll be this weekend because it's supposed to warm up. The weather will be better, and I can definitely get it to you at worst this weekend. So here we are. Monday, like I was saying, January 22nd. And the year is starting off in a fast way. January is pretty much gone. You know, I mean, I know everybody or a lot of people that are closer to my age familiar with the song 30 days, half September, April, June, and November, yada, yada, yada. January has 31, and we already at 22. So, time waits for no one, as they say. So if you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing, you need to get on it, get yourself right. The new year is here, it's flowing, and before you know it, it's going to be February. By the time you blink twice, it'll be February. So once again, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is your boy, SportsRap CEO, in the building, right here live, Heat 100 Radio Studios. All right, Heat 100 Radio, the station that keeps it 100. Shout out to the boss lady, Monica Mason, Simply Monica. Make sure y'all go check her out at Simply Monica 72 on IG. Also on IG, Heat 100 Radio and Heat 100 Radio Live-1. All right, go check out her and check out the Mason Foundation and what we're all about here at Heat 100 Radio and what she is about as Simply Monica and such. So, I'm going to do what I do today. And I had an itinerary, I had an outline. And, you know, sometimes you waver. Like I tell you all the time, like when you're coaching, sometimes you have a game plan, and then sometimes you got to change that game plan midstream. Sometimes you got to change it right before. So I had some stuff going back to this day, Monday, going back to maybe Thursday. But we saw yesterday NFL playoffs, and y'all saw my posts. Y'all saw some things happen in Eagle Land. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I had kind of omitted that because remember I gave y'all the video where I said I was going to wear my hat for the last time. As you notice, I don't have any Eagles gear on anyway. Got the poster. My backdrop is back there because I changed up today. You know, I was definitely going to talk some Sixers. So that's Sixers and Eagles there. I'm going to open it up on another show, and I'm sure y'all have seen it before. It is definitely the quad of the Philly sports teams. So, you know, you'll get to see that, and I'll let y'all check that out, but I'm sure y'all have seen it already. Jay Blake, my guy, Jay Blake 5, thanks for tuning in on IG. Got one person on Facebook. You know what to do. Let me know who you are. Y'all know where we are. Instagram Live and Facebook Live. Facebook, SportsRap Podcast LLC is the group page, and on IG, SportsRap at SportsRap CEO. That's where I'm at, live simultaneous. So wherever you are, but you know, like I can see you on Instagram, but when you chime in on FB, you got to let me know who you are so I can see the comments and give you your due shout outs. All right. So like I said, we're going to switch things up a little bit, or just a couple things we're going to talk about that I initially wanted to bring, but I may not get to today because we got some other stuff that we added in today. So as always, I got some scores for you. The only thing I have is I have the full weekend recap scores of the playoffs, NFL playoffs. So here we go. In the NFL, in the divisional round, going back to Saturday. Saturday, you had the Texans visiting the Ravens, the number 1 seeded Ravens. The Ravens take that 34-10. The Packers might have exposed some things. Might have, I won't say a blueprint, but might have put out some points, some bullet points, if you will, where somebody can go in and shock the 49ers, but we'll see what happens. The 49ers take that game at home, 21-24. Yesterday's games, the Bucs visited Detroit. First time Detroit has been to the second round in the playoffs. First time they got a win in like 30-plus years. So shout-outs to them. They take that game 31-23. And the nightcap last night, the Chiefs at the Bills in a thriller. So in this second game yesterday, you've already seen it. I know I've seen it. You've had the conspiracy theorists that are already saying, oh, the script is in, yada, yada, yada. The Ravens and the Chiefs will be in the Super Bowl, whatever that means. If it happens that way, it happens that way. But I did notice some football, if you will, mistakes that could have helped the Bills win that game. Then I can also go back to Saturday where I pointed out some things to a couple 49ers fans that I know where it could have been a loss for them if Green Bay had done some things a little bit differently as well, football-wise. So those are your scores from Saturday and Sunday in the divisional round of the NFL. Moving on to yesterday in the NBA. The Nets at the Clippers. The Clippers take that 125-114. The Magic get by the Heat, 105-87. Orlando Magic get by the Heat, 105-87. The Nuggets go down to D.C. and beat the Washington Wizards, 113-104. Celtics get past the Rockets, 116-107. Pacers fall to the Suns, 117-110. The Blazers fall to the Lakers, 134-110. In the NHL, the Flyers fall at home to the Senators, 5-3. The Wild get by the Hurricanes 5-2. The Lightning fall to the Red Wings 2-1. The Stars, in a thriller, fall to the Islanders in overtime 3-2. The Rangers get by the Ducks 5-2. And the Maple Leafs beat the Kraken 3-1. Men's top 25 basketball, college basketball, NCAA. You see I'm repping my guys today. I'll tell you all about this in a minute. Rutgers faces number 11, Illinois. Illinois takes that 86-63. Number 16, Memphis falls to Tulane, 81-79. And number 23, Florida Atlantic beats UTSA in overtime, 112-103. In women's college basketball, top 25 on Sunday, Iowa, number 2, falls to number 18, Ohio State, 100-92. Number 4, NC State gets by Duke, 72-57. Number 14, Virginia Tech gets by Clemson, 74-62. Creighton, ranked at number 21, gets by Villanova, 63-49. Number 16, Indiana handles Purdue, 74-68. Virginia upsets Florida State, number 15th ranked Florida State, 91-87. Number 13, Louisville falls to number 23, UNC, 79-68. Y'all see it. I am a UNC fan. You see the shirt. You can get you one of these too, but I'm going to tell you all about that too towards the end of everything. Number 19, Notre Dame, 75, Wake Forest, 76. USC, number 6, versus number 3, Colorado. Colorado holds on, 63-59. Number 10, LSU at home, facing off against Arkansas. LSU takes that 99-68. Number 1, shout-outs to Dawn Staley, Philly's own. Number 1 ranked South Carolina Lady Gamecocks, 99, Texas A&M 64. And closing out yesterday's NCAA Women's Top 25, number 8, Stanford beats Oregon State 65-56. Of course, I'll have some schedules for you for the games for today, and I'll give you those towards the closeout of the show today. So today's show is going to be a little different. Like I said, I got some things that I just thought were entertaining to me, and I just wanted to give you my take on some things because we're kind of in that time. For us, as far as football fans, and the Philadelphia Eagles season is over, so we know where we are with that. And we're going to talk a little bit about their status most recently. We're going to talk a little Sixers, but that basketball season is just heating up. So I found some things that I'm sure some of my Philly fans will take some interest in, maybe even have some comments to offer. But I think it's something that they will enjoy, topics that I have today, and the way I break them down and discuss them and give you my points on things. I'm sure you'll have an entertaining show, just like I always give you every Monday. So first, let's talk Eagles. All right. We're going to get that out the way right from the gate. Okay. Yesterday, you saw my post. So let me just backtrack a little bit. We all know how the season ended. Shouldn't have ended that way, but it did end the way it did. And ironically, I'm at work yesterday, and I'm talking to some people watching the games. And I looked at yesterday's games, especially the Buffalo-Kansas City game. You saw how that game was played. We saw how it looked, how it played out. And ironically, with everything that happened to the Eagles this season, believe it or not, the Eagles beat both of those teams in the regular season. One in overtime and one they beat. Their opponent in the wild card round, they beat in the regular season. But they were a different team. I can't even honestly say that they were a much better team then. But I'll just go with the safe word and say that they were a different team when they played the Bucs in the regular season. But nonetheless, the Bucs got to them. Bucs got beat on Saturday, I think I said, yeah. Oh, they got beat yesterday. Maybe, yeah. Well, whatever. But you saw my post, and you noticed that we are to the point where defensive coordinators and defensive assistants, or whatever you want to call them, have been fired. Sean Desai first, and the reports are out that Matt Patricia was also fired. Okay, I got that, cousin. I'm going to look into that for you. I didn't forget, but I just been busy with doing some stuff, so I'm going to definitely look into that. So, Sean Desai fired. Matt Patricia fired. Things that we expected. Some people expected the firing of Nick Sirianni. But as I told you when I gave you my closing on the Eagles last week, that you could have an argument. You can argue both sides of that fence for Nick Sirianni being fired or not being fired. So you got some points on both sides of that fence. Like I said, that you can argue and debate how he should be fired or how he couldn't be fired. So ultimately, it's been rumored and alleged that he was given an ultimatum, so to speak. And that ultimatum from the upper tier was, in order for him to remain as the head coach, he had to make some changes, and he had to get rid of the defensive and offensive coordinators. So we're expecting the offensive coordinator situation to happen soon. But what they put out, and I caught this late yesterday, is the fact that Brian Johnson has been going through interviews for head coaching positions. And when I first posted it, everybody chimed in. Not everybody, but a lot of people chimed in the meeting and said, the Rooney Rule. Right. You can easily go to that argument. And I think more so overall, the way the season played out in the situation, I think that is the case. More so. Just my thoughts. Because if you don't know, now the NFL, they have that Rooney Rule, they call it, where when a head coaching position or a coaching position opens, the team has to interview a minority or a couple minorities for the position. They have to do interviews. They just have to do interviews. It doesn't mean that they have to hire these people or anything like that. They just have to have a legit interview so they can prove to the NFL offices that they did their diligence and followed the Rooney Rule. So I think that's what's going on with Brian Johnson right now. Because like I said in my closing, I don't really know why someone who fired a coach, and you obviously fired a coach for reasons that the team was not successful. So then you want to hire a coach who blundered throughout the season. I don't get it. So I think that is the case. People are just doing it for the Rooney Rule. And then the Eagles put out I guess to save face that he won't be fired until he goes through his interviews or whatever, because they don't want him to be in it, whatever. Politically correct, whatever you want to call it. That's what I got, and I'm bringing it to y'all like I always do. So, like I said to you in the beginning, I felt like the defensive coordinator should have been going first. Matter of fact, did I say that offensive coordinator? Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, if y'all remember, because I know y'all pay attention. But anyway, I felt like both coordinators needed to be going. I threw some names out, and here we go. The Eagles I mentioned that they have reached out to Frank Reich, and the situation with Frank Reich is a very intriguing one, because I shared the post with you and you all have seen it. It stated that he was reached out to and given information on possibly multiple positions, okay, within this within the Philadelphia Eagles organization. All right, Mr. Philadelphia Q, good morning. Thanks for tuning in on IG. So that's one person, and I felt like once he was let go during the season, I felt like he should have been brought back anyway, maybe even for temporarily as a consultant, just to help out with the offense, because he had success with that offense and previously. Okay. They have possibly could reunite with the former coach, the D-back coach of currently the D-back coach of the Baltimore Ravens, Denard Wilson. They also reached out to former defensive coordinators, Wink Martindale of the Giants and Ryan Nielsen of the Falcons. They have also speculation that there could be some talk or reaching out to Jim Bob Cooter, offensive coordinator of the Detroit Lions. So the Detroit Lions coach is still in season, so they can't really reach out to him as of yet, as well as the D-back coach, Denard Wilson, for the Ravens. They can't reach out to them yet because they're still in season. So I like the Denard Wilson as a defensive coordinator, D-back coach, because our D-backs, our secondary needs help bad. Secondary was bad. We need help. They're bad. The offensive coordinator, Jim Bob Cooter, I don't know. You've seen what he's done with Detroit this year. Again, if you don't get Frank Reich, you still may have some instances. You know, I also mentioned Leslie Frazier, who's not in football right now as a defensive coordinator. Could be a good fit. And there are going to be a lot of names that are going to pop up as people get fired. You know, Ron Rivera was let go by Washington. He has been known to be a good defensive coordinator. So there are going to be some names. It's just a matter of what direction the Eagles want to go in and how serious are they about fixing the issues. Okay. All that to say, you're going to hear a lot more. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you stay focused and follow, because there's going to be more stuff coming out. And like I tell you, it happens all the time. And I also mentioned that we saw something going wrong. And I said, we on the outside looking in, fans, me doing what I do, we can all speculate and have our opinion, formulate our opinions on where the season went bad, where it went bad, and how it went bad. Okay. We could definitely see that. But you can also look at it like something is going on. And again, like I said, if I wish I could have been a fly on the wall in that locker room, but there was, and I just brought it down to something was going on that we would probably, from the outside looking in, probably never get the true essence or the true aspect of what it is. And I still believe that to this day. But again, we know things will get leaked out as things progress. And just recently, as again yesterday, in the mix of everything else, the firings and all that, it's been reported that Jalen Hurts and Brian Johnson had some friction late in the season. And it's been reported that allegedly Jalen was freelancing. So that basically tells me that there was no union there. There was some type of uncomfortability. Yes, it was some type of feeling of uncomfortability in that offense. They were unsure of that offense. There was some speculations and whatever, but it's come out that there was some friction in that. And again, like I said, it just fell out the bottom. It got bad, and then at one point, got to the point, I think it was the Giants game I could pick, and the bottom just fell out. You could even pick the wild card game. And the bottom just fell out, and it was just a done deal then. So it is what it is. But again, the Eagles have a lot of work to do. Both sides of the ball, all the way across the board, rather, if you will. They have some expiring contracts. Here are the expiring contracts. All right, I'm going to go offense and defense. Quarterback, Marcus Mariota. DeAndre Swift, Rashad Penny, Boston Scott, Quez Watkins, Olamide Zaccheaus, Albert Okwuegbunam, Jack Stoll, Sua Opeta, Jack Driscoll, and Jason Kelsey. All right, seeing Jason Kelsey yesterday is leading me to believe that he may retract and want to come back and try it one more time. On the defensive side and special teams, linebacker Sean Bradley, linebacker Shaquille Leonard, Nicholas Morrow, Zach Cunningham. It's pretty much the whole linebacking core. Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, and punter Braden Mann. There were reports that Fletcher Cox is thinking seriously or may have announced that he would be retiring. So I'll keep you posted on that as I get the information on that, like I always do. Jason Kelsey initially had said that he was going to retire, but then on his podcast he said that he may give it some more thought and see what happens. But if he does, and let's just stay there for a second, we see the type of fan he is. We see the type of person he is from being here so long. And like I said, when the Eagles did win the Super Bowl, he wore the Mummers costume to the parade, I felt at that point he solidified himself as a Philadelphia sports legend. He could arguably have solidified himself as a true sports legend with his feat yesterday, arriving, making an appearance at Bills fans tailgate, and then you saw the videos of him in the stadium, in the stands, and whatnot. So, for his career, I gave you some of his highlights last year, but I got another one for you. So since the merger in 1970, you listen to me, since the merger in 1970, he has been the only center to win a Super Bowl, earn 6 All-Pro first-team selections. Kudos to him for that. He's the only center that has done it since 1970. You know how long 1970 is to now, 2024. So it's a long time. So, there you have it, folks. So like I said, stay tuned. And as always, it's going to be some more stuff coming down the line. Like I said, Brian Johnson will probably be fired soon enough. Like I said, I still can't get, other than like we mentioned, the fact of the Rooney Rule, of why some of these teams who obviously got rid of their past coach for unsuccessful team reasons, or not, so I didn't say that right, for reasons that made the team unsuccessful. So why would you bring in a coach that wasn't successful himself? Rooney Rule all the way is where I'm going with it. So I'm in agreement with a lot of other people that commented on my stuff when I posted it. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to move on to my Philadelphia 76ers because they're playing very good right now. They are currently the 3rd seed. If the players were started, they would be the 3rd seed. And it looks like they would be facing Miami in the first round. But, it's a hell of a long season. But right now, they're like 3rd. 2nd in the Atlantic Division, 3rd in the Eastern Conference. So they're playing pretty good. I like what I'm seeing. And I'm kind of sounding like maybe a broken record. But, again, a lot of the things that I mentioned to you from the very beginning when Nick Nurse was hired, when we opened up and started in the training camp. Tracy Nicky, Miss Arlington, thank you for tuning in first time this morning. Appreciate you tuning in. See that? Everybody gets the shout out. So when you go back to work, when you go to work today, you can tell everybody that you got your shout out on the Sports Rap podcast. All right. Everything that I said, that I looked at and I interpreted from Nick Nurse going into training camp, how I felt the offense could be different, is coming to fruition. They finally made the James Harden trade, and they brought in pieces from the Clippers that have been good pieces so far. So there is this talk. It's always talk, and it's coming up because it's January 22nd. The trade deadline is February the 8th. So it's always some talk, like, will the Sixers stand pat? They had some rumors that they were allegedly looking at some people. Some of those people have already been traded. OG Anunoby, Toronto Raptors. Pascal Siakam, Toronto Raptors have both been traded away. So maybe something's going on in Toronto where they might be looking towards the future and trying to get rid of some people and have some people that were good to them move on and move into better situations for their careers. Some other pieces to watch, other names to watch: Tyus Jones, DeJounte Murray, some buyouts, buyout Gordon Hayward. I wouldn't want him because you haven't seen him play in a long time, so I wouldn't want to go that route. There's also been talk about Bojan Bogdanovic from the Pistons, and maybe even Bogdanovic from the Atlanta Hawks as well. So we'll see what happens. But the difficult thing now for the Sixers, I feel, is the way that they're playing and the pieces that have come in. Some of those pieces, those names have been lumped in these mock trade proposals and whatnot. And it's kind of feeling like, I don't know if I really want to do that right now. But I will say this, and I'm going to stick to this until something happens, if anything does happen. I'm going to say, in my interpretation and looking at the Sixers and what's going on right now, I feel like we need a legit backup center, and we need a backup point guard that can score and also be a point guard. It's my opinion. That's what I feel like we need. Okay, I'm not going to go through the gamut and tell you why I feel like that with the personnel that we have, because I've done that several times. All right. So, again, the incredible play of Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid is something to revel about right now. It's all over the NBA. People are talking about it. There are people that are talking about how dominant Joel Embiid has been with his stretch of 20, possibly more games of 30-plus points and 10-plus rebounds. It's crazy for him so far, where he's getting these games where he's getting 35 and 40 and something points. In a couple games he had 50. I wrote all these games down. I got like the last 16 games, but there's like more added to it. But in the 16 games, I marked off some things. He had 2 50-point games, 2 triple-doubles, but the least amount of points in all of these 16 games was 30. So he's been killing it. We just need, as Philadelphia fans, and he's been saying it when people have asked him about this run that he's been on, he's also been reiterating and putting it out there that he wants to be able to continue this into the playoffs, into the second round, and moving past the second round. So, hey, I'm going to ride with the big fella. Hope he can do it. Hope he can hang on, because the way he's playing right now, he's a monster, beast. He's eating barbecue chicken, barbecue whatever he wants, just about every night. And he's doing this in 3 quarters of play, people. 36 minutes. He had one game where he had more points than he scored more points than he played minutes. How is that possible? I don't know. But something is going on, and this dude is doing his thing. And I am glad that he is doing his thing, because it's great for us as fans. Oops, sorry about that, IG. Messing things up there. I'm trying to fix this stuff here. I got to pull some cords up here. I think I have to adjust my cords here and switch my cords, telling me I got a little bit of life. Well, nonetheless, listen, I'm sorry I blocked my Instagram there, but nonetheless, we are into it. And again, the Sixers are playing very, very good. What's up, my friend? Could that be my guy Richard Drummond? Let me know who you are. It's my friend. It sounds like you, Rich. And again, like I said, the Sixers are in a place now where even if they don't make a trade at the trade deadline, moving forward, we've already talked to you. I thought that was you, Rich. Good morning to you, good brother. It points to the end of the season, end of the regular season, or end of the season in general, where they're going to have cap space and they've got all these expiring contracts, so they can maneuver some things. There has been some talk again, and it's been for the past couple of years about the Tobias Harris, but to save face, it's an expiring contract. He's on the last year of that contract, and for the first time in, I guess, a year or two, he's been a little bit more consistent. And remember, I've always talked about his consistency level. He's been a little bit more consistent this year. He's had a couple big games for us this year. All right, so they are actually happy with his play right now. Hence, there have been rumors, but there's been nothing definite. So there is a chance that our Sixers could stand pat at the trade deadline. Yes, I agree with that, Rich. Morey is very deliberate, and he's going to try to make a perfect trade. And I respect him for that. So getting back to, like I said, our guys and the way that they're playing. Saw a stat. Top 5 scoring duos in the NBA. I'm going to go from 5 to 1. Okay. Number 5. Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle at 50.5 points a game. Luka and surprisingly Tim Hardaway Jr. 51.7 points a game. KD and Book 55.9 points a game. Giannis and Dame 56.2 points per game. Great guess there, my friend. That number 1, sitting definitely at number 1. At number 1, definitely. You were correct, Rich. Joel Embiid, reigning MVP, and my vote for most improved player, Tyrese Maxey in his 4th year, sitting at 61.3 points per game. Okay? 61.3 points per game. Great to see. I'm loving this duo. And actually, I like this duo a little bit better than I did when it was James Harden here. And again, I feel like that because I feel like the trade with moving James Harden just opened the door even wider. Just kicked the door open for Tyrese Maxey to do exactly what he's doing right now. Okay. It is great to see this growth, this maturity in him. And I just hope it extends. And this is a great one. So he's going to get paid this summer. And again, this is another reason why there may not be a trade. Because the Sixers can actually pay Tyrese Maxey. And then they can go star hunting still. And then with the trade that they made with the Clippers, they got some valuable assets that can be added into any trades if they make any. So the Sixers right now, for all intent purposes, are sitting pretty. They are playing unbelievably great ball together. Maxey is more free with Harden being. Oh, absolutely. And listen, in today's NBA, this is the type of action that you look for. The ball is moving. Players on the Sixers roster now have a more defined role, so they know their defined roles now. They know what they're supposed to do. There's no confusion. Okay, as it was with Doc Rivers. Guys that came in, the Marcus Morris, Philly's own, Nick Batum, Kelly Oubre, good signing there. People talked about the Pat Beverly signing. Pat Beverly is proven to be his worth already. You thought it might have taken him up to the All-Star break half through the season. He's proven that already. He's proven it. Okay? So I'm looking for a continued really good season from our Sixers. One more trade I want to look at, and I'm not really too excited about it. I kind of think it's a little bit too much. The most recent one that I saw, and this is on the tail end of the Siakam trade. The Sixers would get Bruce Brown, and the Raptors would get Robert Covington, Furkan Korkmaz, Daniel House, KJ Martin, and a 24 second round pick and a 29 second round pick is what they would get. Moria set up this team nicely. Nurse has a defined coaching system, and the players know their roles. Absolutely. That's the biggest difference I've seen so far from the coaching regimes from last year into this year. Great changes. So, it's going to be fun, people. It is going to be fun to watch our Sixers down the stretch. And again, like I said, if they make a trade, they do. If they don't, we still have some good Sixers basketball to look at. It's very entertaining. All right. With that being said, I found something else that I brought to the table since we're talking Sixers. And we talked about the trade and the pieces that came in. The free agent signing of Kelly Oubre and Pat Beverly that people were somewhat back and forth with. Kelly Oubre also proved his worth already. Showed he's a valuable asset to this team right now. So, what I found, and this is the 7 worst Sixers free agent signings. Brian Skinner. I don't have the years of these, but if you know anything about the Sixers, you know these names. Kenny Thomas. Hold on to your seats, folks. If you're sitting down, please do not fall out of your seats. I don't want anybody to get hurt. Don't throw anything. If you're near your computer, Oubre has been a spark for this team. Pat Bev is just a tough and gritty player. Absolutely. All right, for you too, Rich, if you're close to your computer, if you're listening to this on your phone, don't throw your phone. And I'm sure some of y'all are going to cringe and be very upset when I say this name. It's going to happen again, so I'm giving y'all a prerequisite now. So just be easy. All right? Kwame Brown. Scott Williams. Our current assistant GM, Elton Brand. Matt Geiger, who they ended up paying years after he was not playing basketball. Al Horford, and I agree with that, Al Horford. I thought that was a bad signing. Tobias Harris. And people, if you remember, when we got Tobias Harris in that trade with Jimmy Butler, I told y'all the situation. People say, oh, well, why they let Jimmy Butler go? At the time, I had some inside information. And I understood why they did what they did. But I still didn't like the contract that he got. And we're finally to the end of that contract. And ironically, he's playing a little bit better. Because he's playing for a new contract. Happens all the time. All right? That's that there. So, I'm sure, like I said, some of those names y'all cringed at. Some of those names y'all couldn't believe were on that list. And it's just weird how these things played out. There are a lot of other ways that we can go through this and talk about this. On a lighter note, yeah, contract year numbers absolutely go up, Rich. They definitely do. The second stat that I wanted to bring today is, since the Sixers have assets, they have first-round picks and second-round picks and whatever, the top 5 Sixers second-round picks. Okay. Go in reverse order again, going from 5 to 1. Hal Greer, 1958. Mo Cheeks, 1978, world champion. Lou Will, 03. Arguably could have been higher, but we know Sixers history. George McGinnis, the Big Mac, in 73. Lou Will was 05, if I didn't say that. And number 1, they have World Be Free. At the time, it was Lloyd Free, but he's since changed the name to World Be Free in 1975. Pretty decent list. Pretty solid list. All those guys that are on that list, all 5, performed very well for their tenure with the Sixers and other places. Okay, so those were 5 good picks. Like I said, we go back and forth with this thing, you know. It's weird how we have shining moments for the Sixers, and then every so often there are moves that are made and you're like, exactly, what the is going on? But nonetheless, we're in a good place right now. He said that list is pretty damn good. Couple of Hall of Famers and Greer and Cheeks. Absolutely. So putting that out there, and my guy Richard Drummond just chimed in, a couple of Hall of Famers on that list, yes. But there is some argument that there could be a third one. Lou Williams could go in to Hall of Fame as a sixth man because he's won at that board about, I think he's won 3 times at least. So he could go in arguably as a sixth man, another on that list, and 3 out of that 5 could be potential, could be become Hall of Famers. All right. One more bounce back as I digress. And I know some of y'all are laughing when I say that I digress. It's going to be a great one. It's going to be a funny one. Philly's most hated athletes. Got 12 of them on this list. Yeah, Lou Will was so underrated and hated when he was traded. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, Rich. Absolutely. So, coming up, Rich, again, hold on to your seats, folks. Again, 12 of the Philadelphia's most hated athletes. At number 12, Al Horford. At number 11, Scott Rowland. Philadelphia Phillies, the guy who the Phillies fans threw batteries at. So we know that these are legit. Sean Rodriguez. Okay, people. Remember when I said earlier that y'all might cringe and don't get mad and throw anything at your computer. Don't throw your computer, your pad, your tablet, iPad, your phone. Don't throw anything. If you're at work listening in, don't get upset and yell out a big screech. Andrew Bynum. Exactly. What were they thinking when they made this trade? Because he never played a game for the Philadelphia 76ers. Andrew McDonald. Byron Maxwell. Heralded as one of the best corners at that time. Ideally, he got that on the piggyback, on the tails of that great Seattle defense where he really didn't have to do much at all. And it just appeared that he was covered up and masked and hidden in that great defense and made it look like he was that good. Got here and just was trash. Nick Pivetta. Potato Chip Kelly's boy, Sam Bradford. Carson Wentz. 2 Flyers coming up. Ilya Bizgalov. Cutter Gauthier, who said he didn't want to play for the Flyers. And what happened? Ship that ass out of here. Excuse me, Mo. Ship that ass out of here. Quick as they could. My guy, Chris, Mr. Bulldog 30. Thanks for tuning in, good brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Number 1, top of this list. And I feel like in this list, we could rotate some of these guys. I think it could be multiple names that could have been at the number 1. But for the current list that I'm giving you right now, the number 1 on this list, Ben Simmons, who ironically has only, believe it or not, has only played 48 games of basketball since the playoff series against the Hawks that we lost. He's come back and he's only played 48 games. He's only played 48 basketball games since then. You know how long ago that was? For him to only play 48 games? It's 82 games in a season. It's been 2 seasons, at least. That's 164 games. And you only play 48? Amazing, right? So again, on this list, and like I said, on this list it is 12. There could be some swapping around. There could be some flipping. I mean, some people could put Carson Wentz at that number 1 spot. Some people, most recently, a lot of Flyers fans could arguably put Cutter Gauthier at that number 1 spot. People will put Andrew Bynum there. Scott Rowland could easily go there if you're just talking Phillies fans, just talking Philly fans. So there's a way that these names could rotate. But like I said, it's a lot of truth and a lot of fact to some of these things, and understandably why they are Philly's most hated athletes because of their careers here and in their time here, and some of the things that they said, some of their actions also have put them on this list. Richard chimes in. He says, Ben will always be number one only because of the potential. People were comparing him to LeBron when he came out. Absolutely. And, arguably, Rich, in that same fold, I even went maybe a step further or a step in a different direction where I felt like he could have been close to Giannis as well because of his talent. He just doesn't want to shoot the ball. And like I said, the difference is, people look, Giannis, he doesn't shoot very well from the free throw line, but he steps up there every time and he shoots them. He's not a great three-point shooter, but when the opportunity presents itself, he shoots it. He could miss 4 in a row, and the next time down he gets the opportunity again, he's going to shoot it. He's not going to give it up. He's going to shoot it. So that's the differences I see there, and I agree with you, Rich. He could arguably be the most persistent and the most consistent number one on that kind of list. So we got the All-Star game coming up, and we got 3 potential Sixers are on that All-Star voting list, and I think voting ended the other night, Thursday night or Friday night. So you arguably got 3 potential All-Stars. Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, of course, and Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid, pretty much a lock. Tyrese Maxey, very, very good chance he's going to be in the mix. The stretch is going to be Tobias Harris. Richard says, I think Ben really doesn't love basketball. I think he was really good at it, but has no passion, money grab, and out for him. Yeah. Even in his pre-draft thing, it said some things that people overlooked. And again, I explained it to people, and it was like, well, the Sixers drafted number 1, yada, yada, yada. I said, but at the time when he came out, even with everything that was written in his pre-draft report, he arguably, coming out of college, was the consensus number 1 pick. The Sixers owned that number 1 pick. If they didn't trade it away, he was the pick. And they just had to deal with whatever happened if it went successful, if it went left. And of course, for us, it went way left. But we did see some of the potential that could have been, that we'll probably never see again in the NBA at all. Definitely won't see it in the Sixers uniform, but we could arguably never see that again in the NBA. And it's one of those things where you could arguably say wasted talent. He kind of fits into that mold, and generally speaking, basketball-wise, in some ways, like I say about LeBron. I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but at LeBron's size and his physique, his skill set, the things that he does on the basketball court are freaking amazing a lot of times. People might not understand that, but again, like I said, I'm not a huge LeBron fan, but I give credit where credit is due. I give respect where respect is due. And I respect everything that he can do on a basketball court at his size. It's amazing. Ben Simmons could have been close to that. And people, like Richard said, people were comparing him to that. I didn't think he would ever get there, but I felt like he could have been in that Giannis avenue somewhere and make his niche there. Because he's not going to put any, like Giannis could still put the team on his back and win. Ben's not going to put a team on his back and win. But he can have flashes and be a very, very intricate, could have been a very intricate part in the success of a team. It's just no heart, no ticker. The true passion is just not there. All right. So, folks, listen, quick day today, because I got some other things I got to do. I got some running around and stuff I got to do. But I had to come in here and talk to y'all a little bit. Like I said, give y'all the Eagles updates that I had. Talk to y'all a little bit about our Sixers and some other things. Before I close out, I'm going to give you some scheduling. I got one more thing I want to get to. It's a quote from one of my favorite players, Rob Strickland. I'm going to give you that quote, and I'm going to allow y'all to leave comments under this video after I leave the quote. I may even go back later on and put the quote in. Richard said, I really thought a guy 6'10" can dribble, pass, and drive. I thought just work on the jumper, and he would. Same way I felt. Same way I felt, Rich. So, you see the shirt. I gave y'all some scores, and it says UNC. Okay? And I've been telling y'all for weeks now. Get over to Instagram. At Making It Yours. That's at MAKING_IT_YOURS_. Custom tumblers. If you don't know what those are, they're like cups, coffee cups, sip cups. For what we do help stay cold and hot. We also do custom t-shirts and sweatshirts. This is one shirt that was done by Making It Yours. You can get over there and check the merchandise there, and I'll give you all that again. I'll put it all in the video, and the tags in the video when I post the video later on, maybe today or whatever. But The last thing I want to give you, and like I said, I'm going to give it to you now. I'm going to close out. And I'm going to, and matter of fact, I'm going to get to it when I get off air and I get back and get set. I'm going to repost it. Okay. So you can read it again and then you can give me comments on how you feel about that. And then I can either get it on my dime of the week sometime this week, or I can bring it back, my feedback next Monday when I come back to the show. So here it is. And this is a quote, like I said, from one of my favorite players, Rod Strickland. And I quote, he says, "Watching a lot of basketball, and I think we have to get back to rewarding skill. I see a lot of players running into traffic, creating contact, and getting calls. Bad decisions are being rewarded. It's the skill to know where you are on the court and avoid defense to make the right play." End quote. There you have it. That's your quote. Now, moving on, before I close out, folks, I got to give y'all this. All right, got to give y'all this. Some schedules for today. We got some NBA games. We got the Bucks and the Pistons, Cavs and the Magic, Spurs and the Sixers tonight in South Philly, the Grizz and the Raptors, Hornets and the T-Wolves, Celtics and the Mavs, Bulls and the Suns, and the Hawks and the Kings. Sixers fans, it'll be our first time to see Wemby up close and personal. If you're in the building, be on the lookout. Somebody else might be in the building too, so make sure you got your social media up. Somebody else might be in the building. Just a little hint, hint, wink, wink. Let's go Sixers, absolutely. Tonight in the NHL, the Jets and the Bruins, the Golden Knights and the Devils. Panthers are at the Predators, the Penguins and the Coyotes, the Blackhawks and the Canucks, and the Sharks and the Kings. In men's NCAA basketball top 25, my guys, ranked number 4, are at home against Wake Forest. Cincy is in Kansas to play face-off against number 3, Kansas. In the women's side, number 5, UCLA goes to number 20, Utah. And Baylor, number 12, is at home hosting number 7, Kansas State. Thank you again to everybody that tuned in. My guy, Richard Drummond on Facebook, as always. Friend of the show, partner of the show, family of the show here. To everyone on IG, Cuzzo, Yellow Bowman, J Blake 5, my guy, Mr. Philadelphia Q, Jessica Kate 3342, Tracy, Nikki, and Mr. Bulldog 30. Thank you all for tuning in this morning. Again, go check out at Making It Yours on Instagram and TikTok. And folks, you definitely know where to get me on Instagram, TikTok, and Threads at SportsRap CEO. On Facebook, SportsRap Podcast LLC is the group page. The webpage, sportsrapradio.com. Also, folks, YouTube, get over to the YouTube channel. Search SportsRap TV. Check the older videos. Some videos will probably go up today, maybe, if I can get it work done. But they'll go up soon. Remember, you know what to do. Find the videos that you like, hit that thumbs up. But make sure you subscribe first. So that's the rules. Number 1, subscribe to the channel. And check out the videos that are there. Check out the content. Some great content over there. Then hit the thumbs up on the videos that you like. Okay? And then finally, hit the bell so you'll be alerted when new content is uploaded. Also, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right? And then you can find me all week on social media. Like you have my handles. And then right back here on Mondays, 11 a.m. is the go time. Closing out a little early today, But I gave y'all some great information. And remember, stay tuned all week. You will hit more great information, more great information, more great content. And also the audio, iHeartRadio, Apple, Google Podcasts, and Spreaker. All right, so make sure you tuned in. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure that you also, again, go check out at MAKING_IT_YOURS_ for your custom t-shirts, tumblers, sweatshirts, and other apparel. Talk to y'all all week on social media. And right back here next Monday. Be great on purpose. Be careful outside. It's a little chilly, but it's going to be a little warmer than yesterday. Get a little heat wave, so to speak, the end of the week going into the weekend. But today is Monday. Again, like I said, be great on purpose. Do what you do. And I will talk to y'all very soon on the internet, on the interweb, and right back in studio. Peace, everybody. Thank y'all for tuning in.